Welcome to Paladin Global Markets Online Business Podcast. I am so excited today to have with us Michele Rigby Assad. You are going to absolutely love our guest. Welcome to the show, Michele.
Thanks for having me, Michelle. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. I'd love to just say she is a former CIA intelligence officer, and she spent most of her career in the Middle East. She's a keynote speaker, trainer, and a corporate consultant, and author of one of my favorite books, Breaking Cover. I wanted to bring her on the show today because I have found that many people sometimes struggle to start activating their business, their online business endeavors, to be able to get off the X, so to say, which is something that she is known for helping to inspire people to just take that step, that first action to just go ahead and get the ball rolling. So that's why I brought her to the show today. And so, Michele, will you please help us tell us a little bit about how we can get off the X?
Oh, sure. So a little bit about me. I grew up in rural Central Florida, and I was incredibly surprised to get hired by the CIA because it was so different than anything that I knew. And I was very intimidated by the idea of getting into the agency. Like, that's not my fault, right?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
And so everything that I did in my career, I did with so much fear and trembling and uncertainty. But I think it's important to explain to people how I did all those things despite my fear and intimidation. Right. Because those things were always there. And I think when people hear my background and my career, they feel they're very impressed by that.
Sure.
It sounds great, but the honest truth is it literally was taking one step at a time. Mm. So there was this really cool training that we were given in the CIA. So after we finished a year of tradecraft training,
right,
they gave paramilitary training. And there was this one particular course that was teaching us how to survive an ambush.
Oh, gosh.
So God forbid you ever found yourself driving and there's a checkpoint. Checkpoints are a big deal in many countries by criminals or terrorists that's set up to attack you, that they give you the skills you need to survive.
Right.
And so what they call this is get off the X training. And the X, like, what is the X, right?
Yes, yes.
It's defined as the location where you're being attacked. Okay. It's literally that piece of land, and they've chosen it for a reason because they have the strength, they have control of that area. Okay. So if you want to survive the attack, your best chance is to get off the X.
Got it.
Literally.
That makes perfect sense.
Right? And what they were doing in this training was trying to train us to react properly, because when you're under major stress, you tend to either have one of three reactions. So fight, flight, or freeze.
Oh, you don't want that.
You don't do anything. You do anything but freeze.
Right.
You have got to get yourself on the X. And if you can drive off the X because your car is still operable, then you do that.
Okay.
If your tires are shot out, you roll on your rims off the X. If you can no longer do that, then you've got to get out of the car and you run off the X.
Wow.
And I know that sounds really basic, like they really have to train you to do that.
Yeah, you have to learn to operate in that high level of stress, right?
Yes, because when you're in a situation like that, you often go into shock.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to do. And so they're kind of building your muscle memory, because we actually had colleagues who ran in the direction of their attackers.
Oh my gosh.
And so they find out where the threat's coming from, run the other direction. Mm-hmm. And so we got put through these simulated ambushes where they were shooting at us with simunitions, and they had a kill switch for the car engine.
Oh my gosh. That's exciting, but not if I was the one in it. That's exciting to hear on the other side of this. Oh my gosh, how did you handle that?
I hated it.
Yeah, I would have been like, I'm going home. See ya.
I thought it was cool, but not me. I hated it. And I mean, because you're really getting shot up with these simunitions, and they hurt, and there's flashbang grenades, and it feels like a real attack, which is the point.
Which is what they're trying to do.
The whole point. Yeah. And so, but I kept thinking about this training because we had to take it every year or two because we kept getting sent to war zones and semi-war zones. And I thought, oh my gosh, this whole X really represents life and your comfort zone.
Right.
And how it dawned on me, I was like, I actually like sitting on the X. I'm like very comfortably X.
Yeah.
And funny, contrary to my my life and career, I'm actually a homebody, and I love routine, and I love knowing every day what's going to happen. And of course, my career was completely opposite of that. But I just realized how hard it is when you're under a lot of stress or you have your intimidation, uncertainty, whatever, you freeze, don't we?
Yeah, we really do. Human nature does that in general, don't we?
Yeah, you get overwhelmed with the choices in life. Like maybe you're not happy, maybe you feel like you need to do something, but you don't know what that is. And so you just kind of push it aside. And the idea is that nothing impactful ever happens in the comfort zone or on the.
So good. You're so right.
And our instructors would say, if you can drive to get off the X, you drive. If you have to get out of the car and run off the X, that's what you do. If you can't run, you walk. And if you can't walk, you crawl.
Wow.
That's how you get off the X.
Sometimes
it just takes crawling.
Wow.
To get outside, to just start the wheels turning, to even start like investing in your future, you've got to take a step. And it doesn't mean it's the best step, or you just sometimes have to start.
Yeah. So
and I
good.
find for entrepreneurs, if you really want to be an entrepreneur, if you really want to set up your own business, you don't usually drive off the X, usually just crawl on your hands and knees.
Yes. Yes. Little by little, just trying. Yep.
Yeah. And so I try to share that story with people because this metaphor is so strong. People can understand how often we as human beings freeze instead of doing something. And so I always tell people it's really important to identify why you're frozen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you identify that, then you can push past it.
So key. And to really break it down into that, really do that inner searching, so to say, and say, why am I not stepping forward? I have this desire to do something bigger, better, greater. I know I can do this, but what's getting me stuck? What are some things that you can help us with to get off the X? What are some things that you have learned?
Well, I've learned to start small, but I'm a visionary person. I actually think very strategically, very big. So I have to force myself to say, okay, what small small step can I do today that's going to push me forward?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm trying to do the next 500 things on this list. No, you don't.
Just one.
Start small.
Yeah.
For instance, I'm a keynote speaker now.
Right.
As you know.
Yes, I do. You're amazing. I love listening to her speak. She's fantastic, which I'm so excited you're on our show speaking to us. Thank you.
But as you also know, I started out speaking to groups of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
Whoever would listen to your story and your message.
Because I was getting practice. And was it a little humiliating? Yeah, it was. But I thought, if I don't start small and learn how to present myself to even 3 people, then how am I going to speak to an audience of 900 or 1,000?
That's huge.
And so you just start small and you say, hey, I will get traction with this. And I'm telling you, the traction with the 3 people led to 20 people, which eventually led to the 1,000 people.
Right. Right. And if you could tell your former self who was starting to speak to these 2 and 3 and 4 crowds, who has now enjoyed the stages that you've been able to speak on today, what would you tell her?
It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time to build.
Yeah.
That you have to persevere. Perseverance in business is absolutely necessary. I mean, I think we tend to see these overnight successes sometimes in the media, and we think everyone's like that. But the
Right.
truth is, it's really a lot of grunt work for long periods of time before you see, before you really make progress. But your business, I feel like that the great thing about what you're doing through Paladin is you're like cutting out all that pain and suffering and just like telling people how to do it quickly, easily, and successfully.
Thank you. That's why and there's a part that I struggled so much when I first started my business, and I did it. My back was against the wall. I'm like, I have got to make this work. I've got to figure out a way to be able to stay home with my little one. And, but it was quite a struggle. And so, yes, I'm passionate about helping and teaching others, but I think it's such a valuable point that you're bringing, that sometimes people, they get stuck in that X zone. They get stuck in that they know what to do, but they freeze. Like you said, that's one of their responses to it. Is there some times in your life where you've experienced that, and what did you do to get off of the X?
I would often say, like, well, what's the worst thing that can happen?
I like that.
You fail, or what is really the worst thing that's going to happen? It's usually not that big of a deal, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
Of course, as we know, you learn from failure, or you learn when something didn't work out like you'd hoped. You go, okay, rejigger it, do something else, try something else.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. I think that's what caused me to get off the X, when I was like, all right, my little one's she's only going to be this small once. And if I don't act quick, I'm going to lose this precious little young years of her life. And I thought, when I'm resigning from this very stable and well-paying job to be able to stay home with her, I'm like, worst case scenario, I go get another job. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it would be embarrassing if I had to hold my head down in shame, like, all right, well, it didn't work, but at least I tried. And I'm grateful that I didn't have to, that I was able to stay home with her for many years doing that full time. And I think it's just important that for us on the other side to be telling people it's possible. It's possible to get off the X. You can do this, and to inspire people to do that. Can you share a little bit? I'm in awe. I'm a big fan. I love having you as a dear friend, but I'm truly, genuinely a big fan. And I love what you have been able to accomplish through your years. I know that maybe you may not have felt brave through it, and you may have just been putting one foot in front of the other, but is there some words of advice you can give people on the other side that are struggling with that freezing feeling?
Yeah. So when I got hired, I remember the idea of moving overseas, like selling our house, selling our 2 vehicles, packing our entire household. Some goes to storage, some's going overseas. I'm moving to a country I've never lived in.
Right.
I don't know anything about. I'm about to start a job that I've been trained for, but I still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
A job that's being an undercover intelligence officer, which is a very dangerous thing to be in this country. Well, in most countries, but this is a particularly dangerous place.
Sure.
I'm going to be working with a group of people I've never met before. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be in a new home, in a new office, in a new country, on that, felt like the edge of the earth where I was going, felt like Mars.
Yes.
And what I think it's really important to do is to ask someone you respect, who knows you well, if they think you're capable.
Oh, I like that.
I have a really good friend, Stacy, and Stacy was about 2 years ahead of me, 2 or 3 years ahead of me in the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually was a very close friend of mine. And I respected her, and we had a lot in common, like very similar personality. I said, Stacy, I've signed up for something and I have no idea.
What have I got myself into?
This
is the real deal. No scenarios here. This is the real thing.
Can I do it? You know me. You've done it. Do you think I'm capable of this?
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, you are. You are. I'm not even pausing. You are capable. And I was like, okay, I needed that.
And how many times did that word of encouragement replay in your mind in times where you're dumping or jumping in away from, tell that story? How many times have you had to be reminded of that you can do this when you maybe felt like you couldn't when you were over there?
Oh, I thought about it quite often. I thought, first of all, I know she wasn't being nice, that she's not that person. She's not like
she's just going to tell you like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
That's the great kind of friend to have.
Knows me, and then if she knows me and she said that, then she really believes it. And so I tell people, you know how they always say you should never compare yourself to others?
Yeah.
Actually, I think comparison can be really encouraging.
I like that.
If you find someone to relate to. So that's why when I speak, I tell people my strengths and my weaknesses, my limitations. I tell them how I struggled, because if you can relate to me, then you can be inspired in your own life. Like if you see yourself in me,
right?
I think so. It's so important to look to other people and say, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
So that's when comparison is actually helps you kind of get over your fear and anxiety and push forward.
Absolutely. I love that. And that's, I'm praying as a call sign for everyone that's listening to us is if we can do what we've done, you can do it too. You can get off the X, you can get the desires and the things that you have wanted to start rolling. You can get those put in motion, and that time is precious. And tomorrow's not promised to us. And so today's the day to get off the X and do something today in small measurable steps towards your goal. For sure.
Also say to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Yeah.
So, if you're with a group of people who loves to exercise, then you're going to be really motivated to care about your physical fitness and what you put in your mouth. If you're with a bunch of people who don't care and they're always eating junk food, you're going to be influenced by that.
Sure.
You are so influenced by the people that you keep company with.
Yeah.
And if you want to grow, you want to be good friends with other people who are growing and pushing and making their way forward. And that's why our relationship has been so beneficial to me, because you and I are both like climbing the rope.
Yes.
Together,
like you can do it. You can do it. Yes.
But I think that if you're with a bunch of people who are always poo-pooing everything, don't spend time with those people. It's not helpful.
I know. I love, I listened to a teacher, her name is Joyce Meyer, and she talks about that you can't soar with the eagles if you're always playing in the chicken yard and you're, just kind of biting at each other and stuff like that. You've got to have people that are going to soar with you and who are like-minded as well and who want great things. I think that's an excellent, very wise advice to give everyone who's considering. So is there someone possibly in your circle or your realm of influence that you can invite in, or they could maybe mentor you, or you can just get around and say, how did you do what you're doing? And then by listening by podcasts like this with people that have already experienced that success is a great way that they can be around like-minded people that can help stretch them to go further and get off the X.
Absolutely. And I think that our iron sharpens iron.
Yes, so I like that.
We can help each other. Hey, I found a great tool. Oh, I found a new system. I found a new program. I found a new app. Yes. Check this out. And so when you guys are all like building the same things, boy, how many times did you introduce me to new computer programs, new apps? And I'm like, I could have spent a whole week researching that, and you just, here it is right there.
Especially with your course. So Michele her and her husband have built a fantastic course. I was so excited. You just launched it. And I remember when we were first starting talking about our online courses and I really feel like I need to package this into a video and instructional so that I can help many people, because I can only do one-on-one so much. We only have so many hours in a day. But if we put it in a video course module set, we can help reach many more people. And I know when we were talking about doing that, I'm like, you're like, I don't know what platform. I'm like, here, I've got a spreadsheet. I've researched all these. Here's your, so iron sharpens iron. And there's many times where with your public speaking experience that you've been able to say, hey, Michele, because I do my YouTube videos and podcasts, and you've given me some fantastic advice on different things, just tools, some tricks of the trade that can continue to sharpen my iron as well. So I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think also when you're building your business, you want to hear from people who have cracked the code,
I
right?
love that.
You want to listen to someone who is an expert because they've worked it, they figured it out, and they can communicate to you very simply how to not have to struggle through that.
Yes.
I love that about your course. You're just like, okay, it took me 10 years to learn this. Here it is. I broke it down. I've cracked the code. This is how to make money. This is how to make money fast. These are the products to buy. Like sometimes I think the hard part is just finding those experts and plugging into them. But I think you're a brilliant resource for these people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is, I love it's actually a Bible verse, but it's make the most of the time. And I believe time is precious, which is my whole heartbeat and my passion behind my eBay business, my entrepreneur efforts, is to help. If it took me a year or 2 years to just figure out the basics and get things going with my business, thank God my husband was patient and we were able to financially make it through that period. I can't tell you how many garage sales I had to have to sell the stuff I bought to resell that were duds. But through that process, back against the wall, I learned this is what it takes to be able to be a success and to be able to help fast track people's journey so they can save time as well. And finding experts in their industry that can help them is very important.
I love that your training is the fruit of your struggle.
Thank you.
And isn't that the best kind of training?
Absolutely. It's like a cheat code.
It is.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, so for me, my job in the CIA was to help manage the collection of intelligence. So that was managing the sources, making sure they are who they said they were, that they were legit, and they had the access that they claimed, manage asking them the right questions. Then we had to vet the information they gave us to see if it really was intelligence or was it fabricated or embellished. And having done that for 10 years, I became an expert on dealing with a lot of lying sources.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I mean, I think people just think you get a source, they're great, and you move on. Well, the hard reality in intelligence is most of people lie. So I got really good at sorting through mountains of data and mountains of sources and finding the legit ones and getting rid of the double agents and the bad sources. So for me, that struggle, because that was not easy.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I was like, do they teach you that stuff? I mean, there's so many things you had to learn on the job, I am sure. Did you just trust your gut? Or, I mean, and I know that's the premise behind the course that that you and your husband have just created is how to vet people and to know if they're a liar, right?
Yeah, how to spot a liar and deconstruct their claims. The ultimate guide to vetting people and information.
I love it.
My masterclass. This is like, I could say I walked away from the CIA. What is the most valuable thing that you learned? That was it. That's the thing. I can, break down what took me, it just agonizing years to figure out. When I had to just, like you're in a moment of desperation. You're like, I have to figure this out.
Right.
I have to find a way to do this. So it feels so good when you can take the fruit of your struggle and make it available to other people and help them not have to go through what you went through.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so cool. I've seen you speak to crowds and I've seen you on TV and different shows. And it's so neat to see how mesmerized the audience and the listener is because of your unique skill set and your experience that you bring to the table. And that's something not everybody can go to the farm. They can't go to the CIA. They can't go overseas. They can't do this. But you have taken this all in one thing, bundled it together and said, here's the cheat code. Here's how to crack the code.
That's great. Feels good. And that wasn't easy. I mean, it's difficult. It's a challenge to build your course.
Yeah.
It's a challenge to find the best way to communicate these things to an audience. But once you've figured it out, you can really help so many people. And that, of course, feels really good.
Absolutely.
And people can turn around and help others.
It's a synergy effect. Absolutely. So share with us, before we wrap up today, what is one major thing, one X that you had to get off of for building your online course and taking all of this? And it could apply possibly to your course or even writing your book. What is something that stands out to you?
So if you take the course, actually, I have a really good example.
Okay, great.
Towards the end of my 10-year career in the agency, I felt that I was being called by God out of the agency to a new calling, to
right.
a different life. And I felt I was going to write a book and share to inspire people. Well, holy cow, walking away from a government job that would always be there. I could have stayed there for my entire career. You don't have to worry about losing your job or getting your pay docked. Like, it's a solid, awesome career.
Yeah.
And I had to get out of that big government boat and jump into the unknown waters. And that was terrifying.
I cannot imagine. How long did it take for you to get the nerve up to do that?
I knew that I felt called to do that probably the last 2 years of my career. And I feel like I was being prepared mentally and spiritually for this great leap. And I was really making peace with it over those 2 years. And I said, okay, I'll know when it's time. And then God made it really obvious it's time. So, but I remember walking out of the great halls of the CIA and I was like, remember this moment. Yeah. This is like, I remember walking in here and being terrified, and now I'm walking back out, and what am I doing? Yeah. I am taking this enormous leap of faith.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't looked fear in the face and done that, I wouldn't be inspiring people and getting in front of crowds and helping people the way I am now. Like, those opportunities would never have happened. So my biggest get off the X was leaving the CIA.
That's huge. I can't imagine. I can see the picture in walking down the halls of the CIA, and I had as well. When I left my dental career, I had been in since I was 15, and at that point I was in my 30s, and worked my way up and steady and vacation pay and 401k, and now I'm going into being a brand new mama and figuring that out and trying to run a business. How was scary turning in that notice. I can't imagine even more because your experience was, and this is something that you guys have to get her book, and you can hear the story. She has some amazing stories about her experience and what is called the country redacted. They can't share in the book, which is great. I love that. But it is to have to leave something that secure that you have done for so many years, and that you became an expert in through that process, had to be quite a scary moment. What was one tip you can leave our audience with? What was it inside of you that caused you to do that moment, that last leap, so to say?
I said to myself, you'll figure out the details as you go along. I just knew that God would show me the next step when I needed it. Like, I didn't need the whole picture in front of me. I have only ever been able to take one step at a time. And I just said, it's okay. One step is all you need. Don't get overwhelmed by all that's in front of you, because it will unfold the way it's supposed to.
Oh my gosh, what a great way to leave us with today. I'm just so appreciative of your time and your expertise that you brought to our audience. Thank you so much. And I pray that this is an encouragement to you as well. If there's something that you're desiring to do in your business endeavors, and you know you can do it, you feel you can do it, but you just have to get off the X. I hope this podcast interview today with Michele really helps to encourage you to do that, and you don't have to have it all figured out. plan and prepare, but you don't have to have it all figured out. You can just do it day by day. Thank you so much, Michele. How can everyone find you if they want to get in contact with you more or learn more about what you have to offer?
Yeah, so I have a website with my 3-part name, which you can probably put up for your
I'll put
audience.
in the show notes. Absolutely.
MicheleRigbyAssad.com, or if you look up Breaking Cover, that's my book. You could pull it up in any format that you normally listen or read books in. So yeah, my website or the book on Amazon or wherever you buy books.
Awesome. And I love the Audible version. I'm always listening to books on the go. And you were actually the voice on the Audible, weren't you?
I read my book. That's
very,
right.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for your time today. We really appreciate you coming. We hope to have you on our show again sometime in the future.
Absolutely.
You have a great day.
Good luck getting off the X.
Yes, get off the X. Bye, guys. Have a great day.